This is the character Silly Kelly. Okay, here's Jesse. Jesse had to disappear because. Anyway, so yeah. Okay, Puck News has just announced that Kathleen Kennedy is retiring. Kathleen Kennedy, the bane of all the internet Star Wars slam sites. Unfortunately, I don't think Puck News is accurate. Yes, I already breaks your bubble, but we got the grunge running with it, we got good fans, we got good reads, we got Screen Rant running with it. It's yet another one of those, rumors. Yeah, rumors. Sorry to burst your bubble, guys, but until it's in Variety and the Hollywood Reporter, when they're not just covering the if, yeah. Yeah, I don't buy it. They're not going to get rid of the founding one of the founding members of the classic '80s movies and TV and stuff, just because you guys don't like the modern stuff she's done or produced, but indirectly. Sorry. I'm gonna get a clickbait. But I am gonna turn comments off because I do not buy this particular story at all, and that they're not doing that because they're not doing that. Yes, this is a 1989 Cheshire Cat from the 80s. Disneyland. This is from On Location 2 Season 1 premiere. The Disneyland Park. That's not for sale. No. Season 1. 89. Summer of 89. Yeah. Anyway, so the history of this character is that she was the executive producer or indirectly producer related to Steven Spielberg on E.T., Indiana Jones, Star Wars, back in the day. And she and Kasdan and the others were brought forth to reinvent it when Lucasfilm was sold to Disney via her in 2012. And then they made a bunch of new shows, controversial, subversive shows, of which the new trilogy was the middle one of the new trilogy was actually the good one. That was the one that was subverting expectations. That was the good one. The other two were kind of rehashing stuff that already happened. But although some Star Wars fans say no, it wasn't the good one because Luke was out of character, to which we said in our review years ago that he wasn't out of character though. If he'd been a hermit for 30 years and he was angry about what's his name, and if they'd done all this other backstory stuff they didn't do, so Kathleen Kennedy's not entirely at fault for that. She just happens to be the executive producer. She okayed the scripts that were bad, yes, but over here at the Disney Marvel shills at the Calicat show can totally come out and say stuff like that. No, we're not shills for, obviously not. I was gonna say no, they were. Yeah, if we worked, do you think we'd have more views and subscribers? No. Our claim to fame is that we go to Disneyland, not that we're in it. Yes. And the South Park Pandaverse parody already went there, and even they didn't go all the way with their scenario. So her history is tainted, to say the least. But is it really, though? Just because, the corporation decides what it's going to put in its movie. It's not entirely up to the executive producer. It's entirely a committee with Bob Iger and then the later guy, Zaslav, and then Iger. They okayed the stuff in committee. So I think the problem with the sequels was simply it was committee written by like 6 different writers and then 5 different producers, and you had J.J. Abrams in there who did better with Star Wars than Star Trek, only because when he did a Star Trek movie, everybody thought it was like a Star Wars movie. Said, he'd be good to write for Star Trek. There were so many ideas that could have been in there that would have been cool, just to kind of make the prequels that Lucas himself directed. The prequels are not very good. The first one has boring stretches in it. The other two are laughable. Lest we forget the prequels, which were not very good. But yeah, the stereotypes in it were amazing. There was a little fly that had a kabaga hat, and he was talking like he was Jewish. It's like, what George? There was an alien called Plo Koon. What? There was a Mills Diner lizard alien guy. What? Lucas, that was the prequels. Unless they forget the prequels, and that had nothing to do with her. Well, maybe they did, but yeah. Maybe they did. Yeah, maybe she was there. So you can't put all the blame on this one person, and I have not seen The Acolyte. I'm going to say, I've seen The Acolyte, it's all woke. Star Wars was always woke. The original trilogy, Carrie Fisher's character, Princess Leia, is a badass. She gets her blaster and shoots all the bad guys and stuff. In all three of the movies. So, what are you guys talking about? Carrie Fisher's kicking ass in that one. Little bear guys are kicking ass in that one. Little bear dudes, little Ewok dudes. Come on. Luke is the chosen one, and he's like instantly really good. That's what they're complaining about these sequels. And it's like, wait, they already did that. Yeah, he is immediately really good. Only in Return of the Jedi is he a little off because he meets Yoda and all that. Or in the Empire, he meets Yoda. And he's training with Yoda. Yeah, but they could have done a training montage and probably should have. I could talk about what some of the ideas they had going on back in the day that would have redeemed the sequels. The third movie, they did not want to do these things. They wanted to bring back Palpatine. We're like, no, that's stupid, don't do that. Unless Palpatine is a puppet, and the person that's really in charge is Jar Jar Binks, and he's pulling the puppet strings, and he's actually the Sith Lord the whole time, thus redeeming the prequels and the sequels. And then at the end they had to explain the Skywalker thing, because she's really not a Skywalker. She kisses Ben Solo / Kylo Ren, but it doesn't make them married. And then he dies and then comes back. How is she a Skywalker? The only way she's a Skywalker and a Palpatine is if, back in the day, she's actually related to Kylo Ren the whole time. They're cousins. And they're cousins because Shmi Skywalker is really, really stupid. That in the prequels they said, oh, the midichlorians created Anakin. It's like, bullshit. Somebody did her. Somebody went to Tatooine and did it with her. Because Immaculate Conception through midichlorians is stupid. And this is in the prequels. So what it should have been is Palpatine has an interest in Anakin because Palpatine is the father of Anakin. Therefore, grandfather of Vader. And Luke, the grandfather of Luke, great-grandfather of Kylo. And thus his children with other people, they had Rey, and she is a Skywalker and a Palpatine. There. Fixes it. And it's kind of disturbing. But yeah, it's kind of it's the plot of Wicked. Kind of. But yeah, it's the plot of Wicked. Without just, yeah. Oh yeah, let's make a happy song, Robert. Yeah, but we're not going to want to kick about Wicked. Yeah, it doesn't make any that the Wizard didn't do that. That's somebody's fan fiction. The Wicked is somebody's fanfic about the Wizard of Oz. Let's just leave it at that. And these new Star Wars were somebody's fanfic of Star Wars. They made billions of dollars, so it's not like she wrote it and made billions of dollars. And if the rumors are true that she's retiring, as Grudge and Goodreads is reporting it, then it has nothing to do with the fan trolls. It's because Kathleen Kennedy is old and wants to retire. I mean, she would be rather old, wouldn't she? Yeah, so I will not be taking over. My idea for a Star Wars movie would have been to introduce the Star Wars sequels would have been to introduce Mara Jade and do the Empire of Timothy Zahn. Do the books, but they said, no, too many royalties. Can't do that. We don't want to pay that guy royalties. So we're just going to bring back the blue guy. We're going to bring back General Thrawn and the blue guy. We're going to get him, but not the other ones, because I would have to pay him royalties. Timothy Zahn. No. Yeah. Yeah. One of our ideas became Strange World, which nobody saw, and and Wish, which I didn't see because they'd ruined it. Do it right. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. At least one of the other ideas became Moana. But that's cool. But it wasn't ours. It was sort of a... Anyway. Anyway, so, yeah. Here's a Cheshire Cat. And, yeah. It's... It's completely BS. Yeah, so they're the trolls. You guys are being played again because you just don't like Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah, some of those stories would have been okay. Like if they just done one season of The Mandalorian and stopped. If they just never did Book of Boba Fett because he's getting digested by a sandworm thing. Butthole. Vagina. He's that shouldn't happen. Book of Boba Fett shouldn't happen. Definitely, we didn't need Mando season 3. We didn't need a Ben Kenobi movie. It should have been a movie, not a show. Or not at all. Yeah, I guess Solo and Rogue One were okay, but yeah, they didn't, yeah, they didn't gel. But it wasn't necessarily the producer's fault. It's that the committee writing the whole thing, and it's not necessarily the writer's fault. It's everyone involved that had nothing to do with the creative, like putting the sets and stuff together and all that, the art and stuff, and coming up with a story after several rewrites. Sure, but don't blame them. They were just putting it together. Yeah. They weren't being paid for that, for writing it. Yeah, there was so much other science fiction out there. I mean, Star Trek, which was 10 years older than Star Wars, had already done 500 hours of television before Star Wars even had any television on the air. Well, some of it, yeah. You know. Well, yeah, before they had any shows on Disney Plus. They had some shows, variety shows, holiday special, Ewok shows. Yes, there were 2 or 3 of those, but only 2 or 3. A handful of them, less than a handful of them. And the cartoon, the droids and the Ewoks. So a handful. And then in Disney Plus, and Disney bought it out, and then they put a bunch of stuff on Disney Plus. Yeah, why are the Star Wars fans so divisive about their property? Yeah, some of the video games, I guess, were all right. But yeah, yeah. I mean, they championed a Boba Fett show. So they did something, didn't need it, but there was a Boba Fett show. And half of that was like, you didn't need the flashbacks at all. You could have made this a 2-hour movie. How does he escape the Sarlacc pit? Here's what happened. And then he goes and becomes a crime boss. Okay. 2-hour movie. They could have trimmed that down to a movie. Fine. He gets out of the sand vagina. Butthole. But yeah, that's it. Yeah. So it is kind of a mess, but I don't think they fired her. You guys are just like, oh, that totally, she's retiring, we won, yay! It's like, no, you didn't win anything. The Disney does not care about internet trolls at all. They don't care about you, Disney trolls. They don't care. They are not looking at the trades, going, not enough people are watching our show. It must be the trolls. No, you guys are influencers. Think you're more powerful than you are. You're not. It has nothing to do with you guys. I bet if you saw her on the street, you wouldn't even know who she was. Probably get the wrong person. Anyway, so yeah, don't go out on the street. That's all I'm saying. And here is the Cheshire Cat. Now here's what the Cheshire Cat's back end.